What is going on, everyone? Welcome back to TTP Sports. And the Phillies, I guess you could say, technically won 2 games against the Miami Marlins, because we know the first game that was played today was a continuation of last night's game that got rained out. It had to get postponed because the Phillies blew the lead. Realmuto hit a walk-off bomb in a first game that took only 15 minutes to end, crazy as it is. And then the Phillies win the second game, 7-4. And they take this series from the Miami Marlins. They win 3 out of 4 games. Phillies are now, I think, they have won 4 consecutive series so far? Going back to the All-Star break? What do you say? What is the mood right now? Yeah, it's very nice that this team is winning series, consecutive series now. But what is the mood? That is the real question, and we'll get into that a little bit later. But still, very weird. Very weird with the game that was continued into today. It only took 15 minutes. And then the second game. Zack Wheeler did not have his best stuff today, especially in that third inning. He was bad. He was leaving pitches right over the middle of the plate. Marlins were taking advantage of it. They were getting good hits. The Phillies offense, they were really sluggish to start off. They were a little bit of a continuation of what happened last night. The offense was very quiet, while Vince Velasquez in the bullpen gave you a really good outing before Ranger Suarez blew the game in the ninth. So it felt like it was going to be a continuation, but the bats eventually woke up. Andrew McCutchen, Didi Gregorius, tying the ball games up with home runs. JT Realmuto, he carried some momentum over from the first 15-minute ball game this afternoon. He went 3 for 5. He got a couple of RBIs in there, carried that momentum. And yeah, the bullpen, eventually, after Zack Wheeler came in, they got the job done. Eventually, it did get scary, though. It did. Connor Brogdon got into a little bit of a jams. Bailey Falter with a huge strikeout in the 8th inning with the bases loaded to get out of that inning, and Hector Neris finished the job. And the Phillies take this series. And that comes with the question, what is the true feeling right now? Because it felt like, okay, you win that first game this afternoon in a walk-off fashion. Okay, maybe the Phillies can drive that momentum. But then it looked like early on, okay, they got a 2-0 lead, but then the Marlins responded right back and scored 4 runs. So we're like, oh God, here we go. When the Phillies, they have the opportunity, because at that point the Mets were losing 6-0 to the Pittsburgh Pirates. They eventually did come back and win that game 7-6. But still, they lose the series to the Pittsburgh Pirates. The Phillies have a very keen opportunity to get some ground within them and possibly win 3 games in this series. And it looked like at first, okay, it was going to be the typical Phillies. They would falter under the pressure. When an advantage came open to them, they weren't going to win it, because the Phillies team is unpredictable, and a mediocre team can falter when advantages come their way. And it looked like that early on. Zack Wheeler was not pitching good. The offense was not doing anything. But thankfully, they did wake up. Thankfully, the offense woke up. Thankfully, the bullpen stood up for Zack Wheeler after his little bit of a falter, especially in that third inning. Thank God they managed to wake up and win this ball game. And still, that question comes, what is the mood? What is the feeling? Because I'm still not sure how to feel. Because at the end of the day, I still think reality is that this team is not the best. They're still a mediocre team. Or it's probably just a product of how close the division is, how compact it is, because not one team is going to run away with this division. Not the Mets with all their injuries in the way they've been playing recently. Not the Braves with all their injuries in the way they've been playing this season. Not the Nationals. Not the Marlins. Not one team is going to run away with the division this year. And the Phillies, they're going to be within it the entire way through. And that's probably why I think Dombrowski is most likely going to purchase at this trade deadline. Because you're going to be within it the entire way. Is there a point to sell? Because if you're thinking about this from an ownership standpoint, on a front office standpoint, you're going to be in it. This team is probably going to buy at the deadline. That's what I'm just assuming. Maybe it's not the right decision. That's probably not what I think they should do, but they're most likely going to, because they're going to be within the race the entire time, because that's how bad this division is. But hey, maybe one team can get hot and they can take the division over. Maybe the Phillies could be that team. Maybe the Mets could be that team. Maybe the Braves. You don't know. You just don't know with this division. And, okay, with the Phillies, they're going on this nice little run for them. Previous to the All-Star break, they won 3 consecutive series, and now it's 4 consecutive with this series win against the Marlins. And you still have a very tough schedule coming up later, because you got 2 games against the Yankees. You have 2 4-game sets against the Braves and the Nationals coming up at the end of this week and the beginning of next week. And then you're eventually going to have to play the Pittsburgh Pirates, who beat the Mets in a series. So even though the Phillies technically have an easy schedule, it's still going to be tough competition because you're still going to have to play your division. You're still going to have to play these teams. Even though these teams maybe could be not as good as you can't underestimate them. And the Phillies right now, with the reality that they're in, they're a mediocre team, they're going to have their games where they falter. They are. They definitely are. And we're just going to have to, I guess, ride this one out and see how it plays out. But they get the series win today, and I guess that's what is important. And I'm not really going to go over, I guess, yesterday's ball game because it was yesterday. The game rained out. It was pouring in the 10th inning. They had to postpone it. It wouldn't have been a problem, but Ranger Suarez didn't blow the ball game in the 9th inning, but it is what it is at this point. It gets resumed today, 10th inning. Jose Alvarado, he has a fantastic top of the 10th inning. Really weird to say that still. At 1 p.m., the top of the 10th inning. And then you come into the bottom of the 10th. God. JT Realmuto hitting an opposite field bomb, walking it off. And then you eventually start game 2 at 2 p.m. And that's mainly what we're going to focus on in today's video because I feel like that's just more the relevant thing. If that's probably even the word to use, it's probably the more relevant game right now. So the Phillies, they get the runs in the bottom of the 2nd inning. Phillies got a couple of base runners, Ronald Torres, Luke Williams, Zach Wheeler. Good sacrifice bunt, gets them over. You got Gene Segura up at bat. Jorge Alfaro, who is a terrible defender behind the plate, let the ball get by him, and that allows Torres to score, and that gives you a 1-0 lead. And then eventually JT Realmuto comes up. He gets an RBI single, scores Luke Williams, and that makes it 2-0 Phillies. But then you go into the top of the 3rd inning. Zach Wheeler, he leaves a couple of pitches right over the middle of the plate. The pitcher gets a hit. A couple of more guys get base hits. Starling Marte hit a double to the right field gap, which scored a run to make it a 2-1 Phillies lead. Then Garrett Cooper, he hit a sac fly, which made it 2-2. And then Adam Duvall. This wasn't a bad pitch by Zach Wheeler. It was just a good piece of hitting by Adam Duvall. He sends it the opposite way into the stands, which makes it 4-2 Marlins. So you go up 2-0. Zach Wheeler not having a really good inning. His mechanics were off. He was hitting the middle of the plate 20 million times. Just wasn't a good inning. And the Marlins took advantage of that, and they make it a 4-2 lead. But then we go into the bottom of the 5th. Andrew McCutchen, long home run to left field, makes it a 4-3 game. Then not so later, the Marlins eventually go to the bullpen, and the bullpen has to face Didi Gregorius. So many pitches later, he hits a bomb into the right field stands, ties the ball game up, 4-4. Phillies get some base runners in the bottom of the 6th inning. Gene Segura gets a sac fly to make it 5-4. Andrew McCutchen then grounds into a force out. We take those, and it makes it 6-4. So we take those every single time. And then JT Realmuto gets that extra insurance run in the bottom of the 8th inning to make it a 7-4 game. And then going into the bullpen standpoint, Connor Brogdon, he got into a little bit of a jam in the 8th inning. Allowed a couple of base runners and a heart attack situation when Jorge Alfaro comes to the plate because it looked like he was going to hit a bomb into the left field stands, a 3-run bomb. But no, I guess the wind brought it back, and you got Andrew McCutchen looking at the wall, looking like it's going to go out, but then he shimmies backwards, and then he catches the ball. I'm just like, Kutch, what are you doing there? Are you trying to fool us? Are you trying to give us a heart attack? Come on, man. But seriously, I thought that game was out of hand on that swing, and thank God it did not happen. And then Bailey Falter eventually comes in. He almost makes a play to get out of the ball game, to get out of the inning, but sadly it loads the bases, but it does save a run from scoring. But then Bailey Falter, a very huge strikeout in that top of the 8th inning to get out of that bases loaded jam. Then Hector Neris gets the job done in the 9th inning, 1-2-3. Great inning from Hector Neris, and he gets the save on the night. So let's look at the stat line for this game. So Zach Wheeler, he goes 6 innings, allows 6 hits, 4 earned runs, 2 walks, 7 strikeouts, and a home run allowed. Not the best outing from Zach Wheeler. He clearly struggled in that top of the 3rd inning. It just wasn't good enough. Definitely wasn't good enough, but hey, he got away with it because the Phillies offense eventually woke up late in this ballgame. So he got away with it. Scratch that one off. Go into your next start fresh and clean. Connor Brogdon pitches an inning and 2/3, allows 2 hits, no earned runs at all, 1 walk, and no strikeouts. So he got into some jams. He got out of them. So thankfully, he left unscathed. Bailey Falter comes in to finish that top of the 8th inning. He gets that 1 strikeout. Good for him. Hector Neris comes in for the inning, and he gets 2 strikeouts. Good save for him. Then you go to the box score for the lineup today. Gene Segura, he goes 1 for 3 with an RBI and a walk. JT Realmuto, he goes 3 for 5 with 2 RBIs. Bryce Harper, he goes 1 for 4 with a walk. Andrew McCutchen goes 1 for 3 with 2 RBIs on the home run today. Rhys Hoskins, he goes 1 for 4. Didi Gregorius goes 1 for 4 with the solo shot. Ronald Torreyes, he goes 1 for 4. Luke Williams goes 1 for 1. Trent Jankowski eventually came into this ball game, and he goes 2 for 2 with 2 runs scored. So Jankowski just continues to get on base. He is a hitting machine, and that is something I really did not expect to say. I just did not. Zach Wheeler, he had a couple of bats. Both were sacrifice bunts, so great piece of small ball there by Zach Wheeler. Brad Miller had a pinch hit opportunity in this game. He went 1 for 1 with a run scored. Nick Maton also had a pinch hit ability as well. I think he also had a sacrifice bunt. In terms of runners in scoring position, the Phillies were 3 for 11, and they left 8 runners total on base. So, if we look at the standings, Phillies, they sit in second place. They are 2 games behind the New York Mets. They are 47 and 45, 2 games above 500. The Mets, they're in first place at 40 and 42. They won the last game against the Pittsburgh Pirates by coming back down from 6-0. So the Phillies, they're in this race still. They're going to be in it for the entire time. Like I said, they're going to be in it. In third place, you got the Atlanta Braves. They're 4 games back of the Mets. They're 45 and 47. And you got the Washington Nationals in fourth place. They are 42 and 49. They're 6.5 back. And the Marlins, they're in fourth place at 40 and 53. So the Phillies, they're going to be in it the entire time. And honestly, I want to see what the wild card race looks like for the Phillies' sake as well. So looking at the wild card, that is definitely controlled by the Dodgers and the Padres, and that's probably going to be how it is the entire season. And the Phillies, they're 6.5 games behind the wild card race. So yeah, if the Phillies want to make the playoffs this year, they have to win the division. It's simple as that. Well, probably not as simple as that, but that's probably their only route to getting into the postseason this year, is having to win the division. I don't see them getting into that wild card spot at all, just because of how good that NL West is with the Giants, with the Padres, with the Dodgers. It's just too stacked out there, and at least 2 of those teams are getting the wild card spots. So that's what's most likely going to happen. So your route this year to get to the postseason, you have to win a division. You have to win games against your division. You have to go on streaks like you're going on right now. You have to win consecutive series like you are doing right now. You have what analysts say, the easiest schedule in the second half for all teams. So in terms, this should be a time for you to take advantage of that and go and win consecutive series. Go on stretches of multiple wins in a row. Try to get control of this division. Try to knock the Mets out. Do I expect that to happen? I have no idea. I'm going to take it one game at a time, but that's what this team has to do. They have to win consecutive series. They have to win consecutive games. I don't know what they're going to do with the deadline. They're most likely going to buy. That's what I expect. Is it the right way? I have no idea. But they're most likely going to buy. And that's what I expect. So, good series win. Looking at the rest of the way, I have no idea what's going to happen. You got the Yankees, you got the Braves, you got the Nationals. It's going to be a tough series, definitely, especially those 2 4-game sets against the Nats and the Braves. So let's see how this team progresses going forward. And hopefully it provides some exciting baseball. And I'll be here for all of it. So I want to hear your thoughts down in the comment section below. As always, don't forget to leave those down there. Don't forget to drop a like on this video. Don't forget to check out the Panel Lines, which I'm a part of. Their links will be down in the description below. Also, don't forget to check out the links to Broads Media, the Florida Pod merchandise website, and also Flyers Nitty Gritty. All that stuff will be down in the description below. And just don't forget to subscribe to the channel, everyone. And I will see you next time.